How's it going, everyone? This is Tom, and this is the Sony PlayStation 4, probably one of the most anticipated products, along with the Xbox One of 2013. I thought that I've had it long enough to at least tell you 5 things that I absolutely love about the new PlayStation 4. As always, I will be bringing you 5 things I also hate about it, but that's another video. Let's jump straight in. First off, I'm pretty sure we have to talk about the design. I absolutely love the design of the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 3, I feel, was far too kind of plain. It didn't look nearly unique enough. However, the PlayStation 4 sat on my desk next to my monitors just looks absolutely gorgeous. They have this kind of two-tone design with a kind of a matte black and also a shiny black, a polished black. Apart from the fact that the polish collects fingerprints like crazy, it really is a gorgeous combination. Everything's been thought about as well. The ports are integrated with the fans at the back, so you're getting kind of one universal panel where all of the openings on the console are, apart from the USBs on the front, but it wouldn't really make sense to have them on the back since you're going to need them the most. It's just a very, very classy and well-organized design. The size also plays a huge factor. The PS3 was just too chunky for me to have kind of on my desk next to my computer monitors, whereas the PS4 is pretty much a joy to have there, and it definitely adds to the look of my setup as opposed to taking away from it like the PS3 would have used to. Next up, we have the DualShock 4 controller. This is absolutely probably my favorite thing about the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 3 controller was just a bit small for me. They've chunked it out without kind of removing the intrinsically PlayStation feel about it. And when you consider that the controller is one of the most important things that comes with a console, because it's the thing you interact with, it's the thing that you interact with most, possibly apart from the screen and the resolution that the console actually outputs in, but having a controller that's comfortable to use, you can use for an extended period of time without getting hand cramp or just feeling uncomfortable is extremely, extremely important. And one of my favourite things about the PS4 controller is that you can actually plug your headset, and that may or may not have a microphone on it, directly into the controller itself via the mini jack port underneath, and then you can just kind of play, whereas before you might have to have a USB connection to the PlayStation. It's just a hell of a lot easier and a much more simpler way to plug in your headphones and start gaming, unless of course you have some super crazy expensive headphones like Astros or something, which I think you have to route through the actual system itself. Next, I actually want to talk about the power of the system, and once again we have this shot of the fans here, and that's actually because the PS4 remains pretty much silent whilst it's running on my desk. You can hear, if you don't have anything else going on in your room, you can hear it whirring. Once you actually get some game audio in the room or put some headphones on, for example, maybe you're playing Call of Duty like I've got here, you're probably not going to be able to hear the system at all. And when you consider that Ghost runs in native 1080p on the PlayStation 4, that's extremely impressive considering I haven't even heard the fans ramp up once. So talking a bit about the picture quality on the PlayStation 4, as I said, Call of Duty Ghost actually outputs in 1080p. On the Xbox One, it only runs native 720p and is actually upscaled, so the power of the PlayStation 4 is actually very good for such a well-priced console. I'm not an enormous gamer from the point of view that I tend to stick to a select few games which I really enjoy. I like Call of Duty, I like Battlefield. I also dabble in some various other games like Killzone and things like that. I generally stick to first-person shooters because that's what I enjoy. That being said, I do play a bit of Need for Speed, so I know that my game demands aren't as demanding as a lot of other people's, but all I know that the PlayStation 4, as I said, outputs 1080p resolution on Call of Duty Ghost, and I have not seen any drop frames. I rarely encounter lag, and when I do, it tends to be more internet based rather than as a result of the actual system itself. So the power of the PlayStation 4 for me is being extremely effective, whereas the PS3 was definitely showing its age towards the end of its life cycle. And the advantage of next generation is that we're going to continue to see the benefits of this power in the coming years. The PlayStation 4 actually has an AMD Radeon CPU with 8 cores. It also has 8GB of RAM, which means that right now we're not seeing the full capability of the PlayStation 4. In the next few years, over the next 2 or 3 years, developers will start to take advantage of this new hardware and make games that really are outstanding and look gorgeous on the PlayStation 4 system. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about the PS4 interface. Now, I'm purely talking about this because the PS3 interface was so bad, so this is a dramatic improvement. Navigation around the PlayStation dashboard is super simple. It kind of has this tiled interface, but it hasn't gone overboard like it has on the Xbox One. You kind of have a list of all the games you've played or installed on your system, and then you can just start applications which don't require a disc. I know it might sound ridiculous to some of you, but it's one of my favourite things just to be able to go straight to the dashboard and don't have any restricted functionality when you're in a game. Having enough system memory to be able to access your messages, access your party chat, or even go and browse the internet whilst you're waiting for a game to load up is actually really, really useful. And whilst we're on the matter, parties are super simple to set up. You simply create a party from the dashboard like so, and then just invite people from your friends lists. And that's pretty much all you do. You can just chat whilst you're playing different games or in the same game. It's very easy, very simple. It's not convoluted like I have heard that it is on the Xbox One. And then finally, I'm actually going to go ahead and finish on the price of the console itself. And I'm not talking about comparing it with something like the Xbox One. I'm actually talking in general. I have here the HTC One on top of my PlayStation 4. Just take a minute and look at the size difference. Take a look at the functionality. Now, you could argue like a phone like the HTC One possibly does more and has more functions than a PlayStation 4, but I just think it's crazy that these can be picked up for pretty much the same amount when you consider the amount of hardware here, and also the fact that a phone's most likely going to be superseded within a year. I just think it's interesting that people complain about spending £80 more on an Xbox One versus a PlayStation 4 when they spend £550 on an iPhone without really caring too much. That's just my opinion. It's kind of besides the point. What I'm trying to say here is that the PlayStation 4 is exceptional value for what it is. There we have it, guys. That pretty much wraps up this one. As always, I will be bringing you 5 things I hate about the PlayStation 4 just to keep it fair. If you have made it this far in the video, I would really appreciate it if you did give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos just like this one, and I'll catch you next time.